So, you've probably heard this term DeFi thrown around, right? But what does it actually mean? Let's just forget all the complicated jargon for a minute because we're going to break it all down with a really simple story. It's got a greedy banker, a whole community of crocodiles, and believe it or not, a revolutionary idea that just might change everything we think we know about money. Every huge idea, every game changer really just starts by solving a problem. And the problem we're talking about here, it all comes down to control. I mean, just imagine for a second a world where your entire financial life, your savings, your ability to get a loan, all of it was in the hands of just one person. Just like it says here, your fate was in one person's hands. And, well, that's just not a good place to be, is it? It's pretty risky. Okay, so before we jump into the solution, we've really got to understand the problem. So let's take a step back in time, into what we'll call the old banker's world. So, in our little story, this world was pretty much run by one guy, a super rich and powerful banker named Sarafan. Think of him as the center of everyone's financial universe. He held all the cards, or in this case, all the shells. And here's the thing you've got to get about his world. The system was simple, for sure, but it was also deeply flawed. If you had some extra shells, you had no choice but to give them to Sarafan for safekeeping. You just had to trust him. And if you needed to borrow, you had to go and basically beg him. All the power, and yep, all the profit, ended up right in his hands, concentrated in one single place. But then, something started to change. The community, our crocodiles in this story, they got together and found a totally new way to do things. It was a huge discovery, one that was about to shift the balance of power forever. And the solution they came up with? It was absolutely brilliant. They called it the pit of trust. Now, this wasn't some dark, secret bank vault like Saraf and Ban had. Nope, it was just a shallow, open pit where everyone could see exactly what was going on. Every single transaction was visible to the whole community. The entire system was built on this kind of radical idea, complete transparency. And the best part? This new system didn't need a powerful banker at all. Why? Because it ran on just 3 super simple rules that everyone agreed to follow. That's it. All right, rule number 1 was all about helping the community. So instead of giving your extra shells to some banker who would just lock them away, you'd put them into the pit. Now, this is a huge shift in thinking. Your savings aren't just sitting there doing nothing anymore. They're now part of this big shared pool of money that anyone in the community can use. It's a system that's literally built on participation. Okay, on to the second rule, borrowing. If you needed some shells, you didn't have to ask for permission anymore. No begging required. You could just take them from the pit. But of course, to make sure everyone played fair, there was a little catch. You had to leave something valuable behind as a guarantee. In our story, it was a shiny stone. This basically ensures you have a really good reason to pay back what you borrowed without needing some angry banker breathing down your neck. And that brings us to the final rule, repaying. It's simple. To get your shiny stone back, you just return the shells you borrowed, plus 1 extra shell, just 1. Think of it as a little thank you fee. Now, what happens to that extra shell? Well, that's the most important part of this entire system. And here's the magic. That 1 little extra shell, it wasn't profit for some greedy banker. No way. It was a reward. And it was shared with everyone who had put their own shells into the pit in the first place. It was the incentive, right? The reason to help the community. The more you helped, the more you earned. Simple as that. So by now, you're probably starting to see the connections, right? This little story about crocodiles and shells, it's not just some fable. It's actually a perfect analogy for a truly revolutionary idea in the world of finance. So let's connect the dots. All right, let's break it down. That pit of trust from our story, in the real world, we call that a DeFi protocol. And those 3 simple, unbreakable rules that everyone followed, well, today we call those smart contracts. They're basically automated bits of code that can't be changed or broken. And that shiny stone you left behind as a guarantee? Yep, you guessed it. That's what we call collateral.
So what is DeFi? DeFi, or decentralized finance, is exactly what our crocodiles built. It's a simple, community-based system for money and savings that works without needing a powerful central boss like a banker. In this world, the rules are the boss. So look, if you take away anything from this, let it be these 3 things. The core principles of DeFi are super simple but really powerful. Number 1, there is no boss. Number 2, everything is completely transparent. open for anyone to check. And number three, the power is in the hands of the users, the people, or, the crocodiles, who are actually using the system. And all of this leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. Our crocodiles, they replaced one powerful banker with a system built on rules and transparency. So what happens when we try to apply that same idea to our own world? Could a system that's built on collective trust, instead of some central authority, actually change everything?